Would you believe me if I told you that spring is in fact not the best time to be visiting Japan? No? Well, then you're in the right place. Everybody wants their own perfect holiday, and speaking from experiences, that was exactly what I wanted too. Thus, spring was the only logical time to visit, right? Wrong. The weather worked against me a lot of the time. I was constantly on the hunt to find a pink tree, and arguably the worst of all, tourists. Obviously, the weather is completely out of your control, and this was just my personal experience. However, there is no such thing as a perfect holiday, and I'm here to help you avoid the mistakes I made when planning my first trip to Japan. We're gonna go through all the ups and downs of the various seasons, highlighting the best months and weighing up the pros and cons of traveling alone versus going with a group. This will be a perfect one-stop shop for travelers who want to make their first or their second holiday to Japan fit their needs and preferences. So without further ado, let's move on to the first season. Spring, better known as Sakura season in Japan, is probably the most anime in real life experience you can get. Pink blossoms, blue skies, students cycling with toast in their mouth. Okay, that last one might not be fully accurate. Overall, when people think of stereotypical Japan, this is probably what they envision the most. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So firstly, I want to explain the various pros and cons of what gives spring its unique status. Spring is the time of cherry blossom viewing in Japan, and walking through the country will grant you many amazing views of parks, riversides, and castle grounds. There are many cultural festivals, and the weather is on average quite comfortable, making it great to do sightseeing outside. However, if the weather ends up grey and rainy, it basically takes away all of the beautiful pink aesthetics that you were hoping for. On top of that, spring is the peak season for Japan. Flights and accommodations will be at their most expensive, and major spots like Kyoto, Tokyo, and Osaka get insanely overcrowded. During my stay, I was desperately searching for that one perfect site with cherry blossom trees, and I ended up a little disappointed because I didn't find that. There were great sights to see outside of the Sakura hype, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time. But I was constantly chasing that perfect view just because I really wanted to see it. Moreover, especially when I was in Kyoto, the over-tourism was just unbearable. There were nights where I could barely find a proper place to eat, as everything had lines and was booked full. And sites like Fushimi Inari or the Bamboo Grove were just not as tranquil and aesthetically pleasing as I would have liked. I ended up frustrating myself over the Instagrammers holding everybody up, trying to take the perfect picture, and it just felt suffocating overall. Lastly, there's also the seasonal Sakura cuisine, which in my opinion is pretty overhyped. The flavor isn't anything crazy, and I still have trouble figuring out what it actually tastes like. Is it strawberry? Cherry? A flower petal? I think cherry blossom season can be a great vibe and experience to have, but it's so hit or miss that I just wouldn't recommend it. But it's also not a bad decision. Having said that though, would summer be a better alternative? Summers in Japan. Oh boy. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't understand why anybody would go to Japan during summer. By all means, if you have either summer or spring to choose from, choose spring, 100%. Japan is an extremely hot and humid country during the summer, and fighting it is basically impossible, making outdoor activities and sightseeing exhausting. During the late summer, it is also typhoon season, which could result in travel disruptions in Kyushu, Okinawa, and other coastal areas. On top of that, theme parks and major attractions are packed, and places like Universal Studios and Disneyland will see incredibly long queues. But don't let that deter you if you really like sunny weather. During the summer, the liveliest festivals take place. Fireworks, Awa Odori dance, and Gion Matsuri bring Japan to life. Plus, it is a great season for socializing, bar hopping, and street food. And if you're more into beaches and outdoor adventures, then Okinawa and Japan's coasts are perfect for swimming, diving, and island hopping. It's not all completely terribly, disgustingly, violently, awfully horrendous. However, I just personally would stay far away from summer in Japan. So, if you're like me, maybe you're thinking about going in autumn instead. I honestly feel like autumn is just this underrated fella who nobody really talks about, but is actually super nice and handsome. Vibrant red, orange, and yellow leaves make shrines, castles, and mountains absolutely breathtaking. Together with the cool, crisp air, it makes walking and hiking much more comfortable. Overall, traditional festivals, ramen tours, and nature trails are best enjoyed during this time too. But it's not the perfect season. otherwise this video would have been only a minute long. During early autumn, especially September, typhoon season is still active and could cause rainstorms and travel plan disruptions. And unfortunately, you're not the only person who wants to enjoy the foliage. Places like Kyoto, Nikko and Fuji 5 Lakes can be just as, if not busier than during spring. Days also get shorter and places can close earlier, so late sightseeing plans might get affected. So personally speaking, if you're looking for a serene, picturesque Japan-like sakura season, try autumn. It's great. It's still an off-peak season, so in general prices are lower, tourism is less apparent, and you can still enjoy a beautiful Japan. Lastly, a very strong contender in our seasonal matchup is winter. Winter is another underrated season that's often overshadowed by the popularity of all the other seasons. But it does have to click with you. So if you don't like cold weather and shorter daylight hours, this might not be the appropriate time for you. Various attractions are also closed during winter and some hiking trails become inaccessible. There's also a high chance of snowfall, which could delay or cancel certain rural buses and trains. And lastly, be prepared for Christmas and New Year's crowds, as this is a surprisingly busy time in Tokyo and Kyoto due to domestic travel. On the other hand, winter could be a great time to visit for its aesthetically pleasing winter vibes and cheaper flights and hotels, except during New Year's week. Places like Christmas markets and seasonal light displays add extra charm to various cities. Even in more rural areas, you'll find the most serene and magical outdoor hot springs. After a long, cold day of hiking and sightseeing, nothing is better than going back to your ryokan and dipping into an onsen. Finally, if you love skiing and snowboarding, Japan is a great place with many world-class snow resorts, like Niseko in Hokkaido or Hakuba in Nagano. It really does not matter what season you choose at the end of the day, but what matters is that you know what you're signing up for, so you can enjoy Japan to the fullest on your own terms. So compare the different seasons, weigh up the pros and cons, and make a decision based on your preferences. No matter which one you go for though, your experience may vary greatly when traveling alone versus traveling in a group. So which way fits which season the best? While solo travel adds flexibility, spontaneity, and the possibility for deeper cultural immersion, group travel makes it possible to enjoy shared experiences and better structured itineraries. After having been to Japan solo myself, which you can check out after finishing this video, I can confidently say that the freedom and spontaneous nature of my trip was a great feeling. Every day felt very adventurous, and it was always a blast running into things that I felt were worth exploring. I am personally not one to travel in groups. However, I can totally see myself still exploring Japan with either my partner or friends. Let's map out a couple of distinct differences between traveling in a group versus solo, each in their own season, so you can choose what's best for you. Spring is a time for love and aesthetically pleasing pink sights. It can feel peaceful as a solo traveler, but also lonely at times. Some activities like hanami are best enjoyed with others. Picnics, izakaya hopping, and cultural events are overall more fun with friends. Yet, don't let this discourage you. I went to Japan during spring on my own and enjoyed everything thoroughly, so you can too. There are a lot of good solo experiences to be had during summer, like going to the beach and taking part in food tours. Yet, the summer festivals and vibrant nightlife are on average better enjoyed with friends or family. Summer is a great season for group fun, and I would say going on fun summer adventures is best enjoyed with a friend or two. Autumn is a beautiful season, and great for exploration, photography, and peaceful introspection. Traveling solo during autumn is great, but can be enjoyed as a group just as much. Hiking trips and onsen stays can be enjoyed solo and together, but something like a road trip is usually better with other people. Overall, autumn is a great season for traveling solo and as a group. Winter can be isolating, but perfect for the solo traveler who wants peaceful temple visits, snowy landscapes, and onsen solitude. On the other hand, skiing, holiday events, and hanging out with the boys in the onsen are wonderful group experiences. Winter is both enjoyed as a solo traveler looking for cool winter vibes or cozy group activities. Overall, any season could be enjoyed by anyone. But there's plenty of variables that could either make or break your holiday. If you're on average more of a lonely person, then going solo during springtime might just not be the best thing for you. Same if you hate people and heat, then definitely don't go in the summer. Whichever way you choose, one thing should always be on your agenda no matter what: avoiding crowds and enjoying an authentic experience. One key tip that I can give after figuring out what season fits you the best is figuring out the appropriate shoulder season. A shoulder season typically means the period of time between a region's peak season and off-peak season, and Japan has multiple of these. Late January, May, Early June, late September, and early October are considered shoulder seasons for Japan. And you may notice quite quickly that these aren't usually times people would really think of going to Japan. Use this to your advantage, together with booking essential visits far in advance. And if you want more tips on how to save money and plan the ideal trip to Japan, then don't forget to watch my video on how to travel to Japan on a budget. You'll usually find the least tourists during shoulder seasons, and with overall lower prices during less busy times, it could make for a perfect visit. Don't forget to visit popular attractions early or late during the day, as these can be surprisingly quiet times. And staying in less touristy neighborhoods could also enhance your local experience, so you can maximize your authentic Japanese holiday. Though, as great as off-peak travel is, it does actually come with a couple of challenges. If you do plan on traveling to Japan in one of its various shoulder seasons, there are a couple of things you should keep in mind. Matters like limited transportation in rural areas, weather disruptions due to typhoon season, and attractions closing early could influence your holiday. So make sure you're well prepared. Be flexible when things don't go according to plan, and have backups in mind. Keep track of the weather, public transport, and the opening and closing times of your favorite attractions. Overall, there is no bad time to visit Japan. After my personal experiences and further research, I've just come to the conclusion that there are so many better times than the picture-perfect spring. Autumn or winter just might fit you more. So before you decide on that pink wonderland, compare your choices and see what's right for you. There's so much more to Japan than the stereotype touristy trends. And every season has something unique. So don't forget to tell me your favorite season in the comments below. And if you learned something new, consider subscribing. So thanks for watching. I genuinely hope this helps you plan your next big trip to Japan. Because hey, if I can do it, then honestly, so can anyone. I hope to see you again soon. Sayonara.